I don't know if you've ever read the book, You Are a Badass at Making Money.
Sounds familiar, but yeah, keep going.
So one of the lines in the book, it just says like, everybody's looking for the secret to success. And the only secret there is to get uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that line because for me, every time I start to get uncomfortable, I'm like, okay, I'm in the right place.
Yep.
Right. And I think that in order to build a business and even being a mom, like doing all of the things that we're kind of like pushing ourselves to do requires that discomfort and that growth.
100%. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
And putting yourself in those situations, but believing that you'll figure it out. You'll just, there's almost no excuse in the age of AI where we are now. There's almost no excuse in not being able to find the answer.
Right.
Or find the right people who can take you to that next level or give you the next right answer. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to, know what the next right step is, or even feel like you can figure that. What is that next step? And I'll just figure it out, and then it'll come.
Welcome, everybody, to In the Spotlight. I'm Meagan Fettes, your host for the show. Now, before we get into it, I want to do a quick shout out to Mainstreet Market. They're the sponsor for this show. And if you have not checked out one of their 3 locations here in Okotoks, Mahogany, Strathmore, then I highly recommend it because these stores are filled with so many cool products. They're amazing. And you definitely need to come and shop local at one of these stores. So today we've got Liz with Village Wellth. Welcome.
Hi, Meagan. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited because we know each other through like the hockey world.
Yep.
And isn't it funny how we can be doing like the penalty box and then all of a sudden...
Wait a second, what do you do? Wait a second, what do you do?
Yeah, it's so much fun. And I find like that's really those moments where you're like, ooh, the curiosity builds, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you said you were doing this podcast and I happened to stumble on it one day and here we are.
Right? Yeah. And we're going to have so much fun because like I want to talk about all things. So we're going to get into the rapid fire.
Okay.
And then we'll get into all things business, kids, hockey, and playful banter.
Sounds good. All the things.
Yeah. I know. It'll almost feel like we're at a hockey tournament and just like, maybe not quite as wild, but...
Less drinks.
Yeah. Thank goodness. I was not feeling good after that last one.
Oh.
Got a little too excited.
It was very exciting.
It was. It's always fun. All right. So these questions, don't think about them too much.
Okay.
And if you don't know the answer, you're welcome to throw it back at me.
Okay.
As well.
Okay.
Okay. Text back immediately or I'll reply later and forget.
I'll reply later and forget.
I feel you. I do that so often. Do you ever go back in? Like, I love this feature where now you can click on the text message and make it look like it's unread.
Mark it unread is my favorite new feature.
Isn't it amazing?
Yep.
But then do you go back or does your mind categorize it as already dealt with?
It depends. Sometimes I go back, but then still I've got unread messages on my phone now and I have to like scroll back through weeks of text to see which ones were unread. So I'm still working it out.
Yeah, it's this beautiful thing. But I know like, I think you are similar to me in a lot of ways where like my brain, if I've read it, then it's like, oh yeah, check.
Yep.
Dealt with. Even if it's marked unread.
Yeah.
Okay, this one I love. Do you secretly love being right or really love being right?
I'm actually a unique person in the way that if I'm not right, I'm really okay with that because I like being challenged.
Ooh.
So I have a degree in fine arts, and so I spent 4 years in critiques. So you
really
make artwork and then put it up in front of your peers and you would be critiqued on it. So I'm almost like professionally trained in taking feedback, which surprisingly looking back has really equipped me for being in the tech space.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like almost everybody should have to do that.
It's changed. Like, do I have to be right? I'm like, do I? But where does this need to go? So yeah, sorry, loaded question.
No,
I thought that was going to be fast.
And it's brilliant because, like I say, like I think feedback is one of the most beautiful things that we can be given. but so often we're not taught how to deal with it.
Yeah. But I mean, you talk to my husband and he'd be like, oh, yeah, you really like being right. So there's
Well, that's because in the relationship, usually we are right. Right?
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. What's more dangerous, overthinking or underestimating yourself?
Underestimating yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I think we all have such potential, and most people don't realize that potential in themselves. And so I think that's like compared to the alternative, I think that's the bigger danger.
Totally. And it's funny, actually, I was in a meeting this morning and that was one of the challenges that I brought up. And I don't know if you've ever had this, but like right when you're like leveling up and there's like people that see this side of you that you maybe don't see in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever experienced that?
100%.
Do you find that difficult or like, is that where you're like, I'm going to meet up to that expectation?
I feel like I'm getting better at it. I feel like I've been blessed in my life to have a lot of people see what I can't see yet and try and surround me with, you know, whether it be connections or resources, and really see that I can go beyond where I am right now. And you know, years ago, I really wasn't sure how to take that and go, like, hey, what do I do with this? They're opening doors or introducing me to people, and I'm like, I didn't quite know what to do with it. And now someone opens a door and I'm like, let's go.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to go through that door and whatever's on the other side of that, this person who believes in me felt like I should be in the room and I should be in that situation and we're going to go for it.
I love that.
So it's really changed a lot.
Yeah. And so just like practice, right? Probably more than anything of those like being uncomfortable, living in that uncertainty.
Yeah. It's building a muscle and getting, you know, gaining that confidence and that reassurance in yourself and that belief in yourself. I really do feel like it's like going to the gym. It's like building those muscles. And I see it too. It's been interesting being in the hockey community because you end up, you know, chatting with a lot of other women and moms who maybe stepped out of the workforce.
Yeah.
And when their children get to a certain age and they're all in school, they're considering, well, how do I get back in? And once upon a time, they might have had that confidence, but kind of stepping out of that workforce really puts them back. And so it's fascinating to see, you know, over the years, you run into women, you know, through different years of being on the hockey team, and you can see that evolution as they step back into the workforce or they start their own businesses and they really start to regain that confidence. And I think it comes too with a bit of maturity too. Like I just turned 40 and I can certainly see this evolution in myself where I didn't have this confidence when I was in my 30s. And I've got a lot of friends that are, you know, mid 40s or 50. And by the time you get to 50, I feel like they're like, you know, fuck it.
Right?
Like, sorry, excuse my French.
No,
that's okay.
I love it. It's so good. But it's true, right? There is definitely that maturity level and that just constant like doing. I think one of my favorite lines in a book, I don't know if you've ever read the book, You Are a Badass at Making Money.
Sounds familiar, but yeah. Keep going.
So one of the lines in the book, it just says like, you know, everybody's looking for the secret to success. And the only secret there is to get uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that line because for me, every time I start to get uncomfortable, I'm like, okay, I'm in the right place.
Yep.
Right. And I think that in order to build a business and even being a mom, like doing all of the things that we're kind of like pushing ourselves to do requires that discomfort and 100%. That growth.
100%. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
And putting yourself in those situations, but believing that you'll figure it out. You'll just, you know, there's almost no excuse in the age of AI where we are now. There's almost no excuse in not being able to find the answer or find the right people who can take you to that next level or give you the next right answer. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to, you know what the next right step is or even feel like you can figure that. What is that next step? And I'll just figure it out and then it'll come.
Well, yeah. And I feel like you're very much a community connector.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've like really discovered for myself is we don't have to do it ourselves, right? Like surround yourself with people. I really do believe that people want to see each other succeed. They want to see each other win. And so build a community where you can be like, hey, you know what? I need help with this. I'm looking to connect with this type of person, or I need help with this kind of project. And just being willing to ask for help is
huge. A skill set in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I feel like we're going to get into so many fun things. And we're like,
we need way more time.
I know. We're gonna have to do this on a regular, I think. You're stuck with me now.
Sounds good.
All right, one more of these kind of longer ones, and then we're going to do true rapid fire.
Okay.
And then we'll get into all things that we're already kind of diving into, but in a deeper way.
Sounds good.
What's one thing people always assume about you that's totally wrong?
That I'm really quiet and shy.
Sorry, I'm laughing about this because as we're sitting together at the hockey arena and I'm yelling and like just being weird and crazy, and you're like so calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah, I was known as the weird girl in high school. And that was like my persona. Everyone just knew that I was weird. And now I'm just like, I'm known as like the quiet one. Until you get to know me more and especially professionally, I'm not the quiet one.
Well, I think too what I loved this last weekend was when I was like yelling my random words that I do when I'm stressed out. And I think I was like, cheese and rice. And then you're like, in my head, I said gravy.
It was like, I just continued on with your, in my head.
Yeah. And so I love that because like sitting beside you in the hockey arena because of my like craziness, I would totally assume that you are the quiet, like shy one.
Yeah. And it's funny because I really gravitate to people who are like yourself. Like they're more boisterous and loud and outspoken and charismatic because I am like the opposite in some ways. And so like a lot of my friends are like you because we balance each other out really well. It's quite funny.
I know. I love it. Like now in the arena, I'm like, how do I channel my inner Liz? So
God, no. I'm like, go girl. Because I'm just going to be the quiet one beside you. And you're just speaking everything that's going on inside of my head. And really what you're expressing is what's happening inside for me.
I love it. Because I don't have a filter. I've tried to shut it off. And my mom, I remember at one of the hockey games, I think it was during playoffs like last year or something. She looked at me and she's like, Meagan, like, are you okay? And I'm like, why? She's like, your face is really red. And I'm like, oh, this is what happens if I internalize it all.
You've got to let it out.
Yeah, there's no other choice. So I love that. And I could definitely see you being like fun and weird and like all sorts of things. So good. Okay. Now we're going to get into that speed round. So no thinking, just answer.
Okay.
Control or chaos?
Chaos.
Nice. Trust your gut or sleep on it?
Trust your gut.
Ooh. Solo time or people time?
Solo time.
Nice.
Both. I'm a blend.
Yeah, I get that. I am too.
Yeah.
Celebrate the win or move on fast?
I'm a move on fast person, but I recognize that you should be celebrating more and just, acknowledging those small moments and those small wins because they compound and it's really important to slow down and acknowledge it. So it's something I'm working on.
It's a hard thing to do though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same way. And have you ever like stopped and looked back and been like, holy smokes, like I went from here to here and I didn't even realize it.
And I didn't know. Or when your like memory photo feed pops up and you're like, oh my gosh, like, wow, look at what I used to look like, or my kids, or where were they? And it's going, it all goes by so fast.
It does. It really does. And I'm the same way as you. Like taking that moment to just stop and celebrate the win is really hard. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But there's always something more to do.
There's always something more to do. And it's something that in our coaching with my work, we emphasize a lot of because business can be really hard. And it's really important to pat yourself on the back and slow down and go, look at this win. Like I might not be reaching the projections or the revenue or the milestones that I wanted to at this time, but you've got to acknowledge like that you're making progress and you're making those small wins as you go. It's so important.
Yes, totally. And I mean, I think too often with business, and I don't know if you've experienced this, but a lot of times we don't track the wins, right? Like we look at, okay, well, what can we do better? What can we do differently? And we're constantly working on like the fix versus the wins. And one of the things I'm noticing for my own business is the wins are actually more of a direction than the not wins, the losses, I guess.
Or the redirections.
Yeah. Right? Like, why are we not putting more energy into those things that did win?
Yeah.
And really like harness that.
Yeah. I love the quote, and I forget exactly who said it, but people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10.
Yes.
And I say that back to myself all the time because I look back on what I hope to do in the next year, or I look forward on what I want to do in the next year, but I look back on the last decade and I go, okay, wow, it's been a journey. Look at what we did. And sometimes what you set out to do and what you actually accomplish are very different. And so to reflect back on, like, hey, this might not be exactly what I set out to do, but look at what we did. Yeah.
Well, and being open to that, right? Like, I think so often we go into something and we're a different person when we envision what it is that we want to create. And then through that growth and that journey, we become someone else, which then opens up different opportunities and different ideas and different ways that we want to do things.
Yep. And I think that some people have anxiety around what their vision is and stick so closely to what they envision they're wanting to accomplish. But, relaxing on that a little bit and letting it evolve is a skill set, and it's a learned, sometimes trained skill set to, let your vision evolve and take on its own form and trust in the process and lean into that evolution. And some people, I see them kind of really stall out because they're trying to hold on to the original vision that they saw for themselves or their own work, and they can't really let it flow in its own way.
Yeah. And it's funny, like, I love that idea. I often use like the structure is meant to be like the riverbanks, right? So it's not meant to like be too much, otherwise it dams up the flow. But we want it just to simply help guide.
Yeah.
And know that the course of the river changes.
Yeah.
Right? So can the vision.
I'm going to steal that.
Yeah, do.
It's cool.
Because it's so true, right? Like, I think if we get too rigid or too caught up in our, like, what we think we need to be doing or what it should look like or all of that, it takes the fun out of it.
Yeah.
And I think everything needs to be fun. At least a little bit.
100%. I say that, my partners and I say that now to each other too. It's like, if this isn't fun, we should be making a change.
It's right? Well, especially in business, because then you just created yourself another job.
Yeah. And that's not why we did this.
No, exactly. Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to dive into your business because, like, I've been really curious about all the nuances. Like I say, we talked about it in like the penalty box and we got like a kind of surface level.
Yeah.
But I want to hear, like, what inspired you to start Village Wellth and what has it evolved into?
Yeah. Sure. So Village Wellth is a company. We're a hybrid between a technology company and a service company. And so we service Canada-wide, and we're just actually expanding into the US. And so we help people buy businesses. And so what that means is a lot of the folks that are coming to us are looking for a career change. They want to become entrepreneurs, but maybe they've never owned a business before. They don't really have that, golden startup idea of starting a business. Or we see people who have been in business before and maybe started multiple businesses. They might have had an exit, or they may still be running those businesses, but they just don't want to start from scratch again. They want to get into something that's already running, and buy it, and then keep going with it. So where we're helping a lot of people is they're leaving traditional career paths, and they're getting in and they're replacing their income because they're buying an established business that can pay them a living wage, and they're using bank financing to do it.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm like curious. So have you guys noticed the trend, right? Like, as the baby boomers or whatever are starting to want to retire more and more, are you noticing a huge influx of businesses that are like looking to be sold, or are those ones getting past generational? Like, where are you finding a lot of the biggest businesses coming up to market?
So there has been this succession tsunami that they've been talking about now for honestly decades, under the radar. There's been more reports and publications come out in the last few years. So in 2023, the Canadian Federation of Independent Business published a report that was data-based on, I think it was quoted, that's cited that 75% of small businesses are owned by baby boomers, which puts them in the age of 60 to 80. Yeah.
Yeah. So like high retirement.
Yeah. Or sorry,
space.
it's over 50% of business owners fall between that age group, but it's 75% within the next 10 years were estimated to come up for retirement. And so you asked about, are they going to family? So studies show that about 30% of businesses transition to family. And so you're left with a great number of other businesses that don't. And so you've got a percentage of businesses in that bracket that just close. They will liquidate, they will sell off their assets, sell their inventory, and they will just close the doors.
Oh, wild.
And then you've got a percentage that sell to management and sell to their employees. And then the rest will sell to a third-party external buyer. And that's kind of where we live. We live in the selling to someone outside of the business right now,
Mhm.
and connecting those parties, but also empowering and educating the people that want to buy an established business in how does it work? How do I find a company for sale? How do I know what I'm looking for?
Yeah.
What's a fit? Who do I need on my team? What advisors do I need? And how does the financing work? And then connecting them with capital as well.
That's amazing because I feel like so many people would have those questions, right? Like I've watched people take over businesses, even here locally, and um, they go in thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to take over this business. There's not a lot of like strategic planning behind it. And then oftentimes what happens is because there isn't that strategic plan, a couple years in, the doors close.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you are like from start to finish helping people find the business, find the capital, but also make sure that they've got the strategy and everything behind it as well, so that they have more opportunity to be more successful within it as well.
Yeah, exactly. We're not as involved like post-acquisition from closing onward, but a lot of that pre-work is, in real estate, they say you make the money the day you buy, you buy the asset, you buy the property.
Mhm.
Understanding what's a fit for you from a personal perspective, a lifestyle perspective, a financial perspective. Is this meeting your financial goals? Buying this company, does it produce enough profit to pay the loan, pay taxes, pay yourself the living wage that it needs, and then grow as well? And so a lot of that, is this the right business? Are you going to be able to take this business on and grow it into the future? Happens in the search process when they're evaluating, is this business a good fit for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what inspired you to get into and create this business?
So I never thought I would end up in the tech space. This was a total accident. Before starting Village Wellth with my partners, I was on the sell side, we call it. So I was a business broker. I had a small firm. We did what we referred to as transaction advisory. So we helped people prepare for exit and understand, how do I make my company sellable? And then whether they were buying or selling, they would come to us and we would help them close the transaction and do the deal. So I had a team of 5. And I got into that because my husband and I had a mobile tire franchise,
Oh, cool.
and we were in the automotive space. So, but what drives me so much in what I do every day is because our franchise experience was not great,
Mm.
and we learned a lot of lessons. We lost our shirts. And so, in hindsight, what we should have done 14 years ago was we should have taken our savings and we should have gone to the bank and bought an established existing business that was profitable and could have paid us a living wage from day one. But we had
Yeah.
no idea that you could do that. And so we thought, well, if we want to be entrepreneurs, our 2 options are to start a business or to buy a franchise. We thought, that's it. We got 2 options.
Mhm.
And so we went into franchising, but we didn't do our due diligence. We didn't ask for support from advisors. Our accountant, we blindly went into this business without kind of doing more of our due diligence. And we joined a franchise that was ultimately a startup themselves. So they hadn't yet proven their own business model.
Oh, yeah.
And we just jumped in. We jumped in full force. So, lessons learned. We ran that business for about 5 years, and it led me into business brokering. So this is the whole, I love that quote by Steve Jobs: you can't connect the dots looking forward, only backwards. And
So
so,
true.
it was 5 years. It was very painful. It was very financially taxing. I had both my children during this time. We were bleeding cash at times. So I've come through a lot of, learnings in that period of our life. But now I know why that experience served me. And there were times I couldn't tell the story without bawling my eyes out, because it was a very intense time of our lives. But
And especially if you were like also becoming a new mom at that time,
my
right?
hormones going in every direction.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine. Like, I was also an entrepreneur when I had my boys. And it's a lot, right? And you're trying to juggle hormones and being a mom and this like new expectation and something that you just can never plan for.
Yeah. And no sleep.
Yeah. And so, I mean, like, I don't know if you're like me, but me on no sleep is just an emotional train wreck.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
So, I mean, and I think I love that you shared that because I think there's so many women, especially, that do that or go through that, right? And you're right. I love that quote. I've never heard it before, that you can't connect the dots looking forward, only back. I used to call them like universal bumper pads.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like how we get into something and then the universe is like, nope. And it kind of shoves us over to like the next thing, but it all builds on the next.
Yeah.
And so like that time, that 5 years, what was your biggest like learning that you took away from and like you still use today?
Ask for advice.
Ooh.
Is like I think at the time, my husband and I, we were in our 20s. We were young and we were naive and we were determined to buy this business and make it work. And we were determined to prove to our families that this was going to work and we could do this. And so we didn't ask for their advice. And like both of our families come from business backgrounds.
Oh man, so you've got like the foundation right there.
The foundation. We had the knowledge, like, and even like we didn't really bring in our accountant to give us the right advice either, because part of us knew, I think looking back, we knew they were going to say, don't do this. But I also I don't think they would have really explained to us exactly why we shouldn't have done it. And at the end of the day, like the numbers don't lie, And we see this in business acquisitions now where we're looking at the numbers and we're modeling out how is this financially, how is this going to work? And we had a business plan. We went through the business plan exercise. We also used a business plan writer who was a partner in the franchise that we were buying. So there were some things that were outside of our control and we just didn't know how to see them. But getting the right advice is something that I can't stress enough. Like, yes, if you need to get consulting from a lawyer or an accountant and they charge, $300 or $500 an hour, get the right advice. Because it's going to save you thousands.
Totally. So I don't think I've ever shared this story, but I actually bought a business when it was the year that Brett and I got married.
Okay.
And it was like one of those, like, again, quick decisions, didn't really get in there, didn't look at the books, didn't do all the things that I needed to do. And it was bleeding money. And I had to shut the doors on it because I lived there, I showered there, I did everything there. Brett got to the point where he was like, are we actually getting married? Like, where are you?
Yeah.
But huge, like it was a really crummy experience going through. But now looking back, I'm like, all the things that I learned, right? Like pause, look at the numbers. Because like you say, the numbers never lie.
They don't lie.
And you have to, going into those business deals, understand what to look for, how to understand those things, and make a really intentional decision off of that.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that really drives me is, good financial decisions in business bleed into your personal life and they bleed into your relationships with your spouse or the rest of your family. And they really, if you have a good, profitable, thriving business, your mental health is better. And I see a lot of people, who are running businesses and just haven't really figured out the right equations yet. And they really struggle personally on a mental health basis, which impacts the family unit. And that is really something that drives me. Is like, let's have good, healthy businesses so we have good, healthy families.
Ooh, I love that. Because it's true, right? As much as we think that they're not really like hyper connected in every way, they are.
They're so connected. And entrepreneurs have a really hard time turning off.
Yes.
And it's when you get home and you're around your children or your spouse where that time is so precious. And, the business will suffer if your family life suffers and vice versa. Your family life suffers when your business suffers. They're so intertwined. And so entrepreneurial mental health is really something that's important to me too.
Ooh, yes. Well, and I can appreciate that myself. I have a hard time turning off. It's funny because I love what I do. And so I get hyper fixated. I don't know if you ever get that.
Oh, 100%.
And so I'll get the kids to bed and be like, well, it's only like 11. I got a couple hours and I pull out my laptop and I'm like, I got to stop doing that. Like there's got to be that turnoff valve.
Yep.
But it's really hard.
It's very hard. Yeah. My husband can tell when I'm zoning out because I just stare into space. And he's like, hello. Like, and I've gotten a lot better with it, you know, as my kids have been getting older too. And I'm like, oh, they're aware now and I have to be really present. But like my husband and I have a few routines that we really stick to. So he works in the city. So for anyone watching, we're just outside of Calgary, Alberta, and he works downtown. So he starts very early. Like he's at his desk at 6 a.m.
Oh, wow.
So we get up at 4:45 every day.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been a habit to build.
I can only imagine. I want to be a morning person, but I'm such a night owl naturally. So
I know.
I want to dive into that a little bit more.
But that's
too.
where you also like binge at night too. You're like, oh, it's late. I do anyway. If I can, I'll just, you know, scroll. And so we kind of like I'm big on building those habits, and especially like I have ADHD too, so I have to, you know, create these like lines for myself, and because he has to get up and go to work, so he leaves at 5:15 every day. Mm-hmm. So in order for us to have any time to ourselves, we sort of have, you know, 5 a.m. to 5:15 together every day.
I love that.
And it forces us, and to get up early. The only way to get up early and be present is to go to bed early. So we're in bed at like 9 o'clock at night.
Amazing.
Together. And so I can't kind of like pick up my laptop at 11 and keep working. It's forced those boundaries.
And I really appreciate that you have that like set, this is what we're doing, because to me, that really sets up like that partnership in a relationship, which is absolutely needed. Again, to hold that foundation of business success, relationship success, like supporting your family in every way. And so I love that you guys have created that, and starting your day that way. That's got to be really cool.
It is. It's good. We have a bit of quiet time, and just like, 15 minutes is not a lot. So we try and be as present as possible in that time. And then I'll go and do my workout and have, the other things. And then I'll start to work. So like my partners and my team will see me start to work at they're like, oh, Liz is up. It's like 6 a.m. and she's sending us messages. So it starts early, but it's also because we've made mistakes, and, you ebb and flow in your relationships, and you feel connected and more close, and then you feel distant. And so we've found that just this one little habit for us keeps us more connected to each other. But I also come from a family of divorce. And so my dad was an entrepreneur, and my parents divorced when I was 11. And so I came from that sort of stressful environment, and there was, financial stress when we were younger. And, my dad's first business, they filed for bankruptcy when I was 2. So I was very young, coming into an entrepreneurial environment where there was financial stress and rebuilding and, finding resilience and finding a way through. And so I take a lot of lessons from that in my marriage and both my professional life.
You're very intentional. I like it. It's a beautiful gift that you have, of being aware of those things, those nuances that a lot of people might overlook, and looking at how can I do this differently.
Well, thank you. Trying.
I think that's one of your superpowers, just in listening to you. Because it's really cool. And I'm going to take a lot from this. I think that starting that healthy habit, Brett and I are both entrepreneurs. And so we both have kind of chaotic schedules. There's weeks where he is he's got a crazy busy week. And then there's other weeks where I'm crazy. And it seems like more often than not lately, I'm the one in the crazy seat.
Crazy.
But that might be a personal thing that I got to resolve. But one of the things that he really talks about himself is connection. Mm-hmm. And I, with my ADHD brain, I kind of am a little bit like a goldfish. So if it's not directly in front of me, then it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And so I have to be really intentional. And I might steal that habit.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't come naturally. It's something we've had to really work on. But that connection, for me, my marriage is the most important thing.
Yes. Well, and especially if you come from a divorced family. And I think really putting that value and importance in, I just believe the family, Brett and I used to always say this to each other before kids. It's funny how things change.
Yeah.
That we would always make each other come first.
Yeah.
Right. And then over the years, kids and chaos and craziness, that just kind of got diluted.
Yeah. And I feel too, I think we're at the busiest stage in our lives right now. Like I don't, other parents might say, Joe, just wait, because our kids are I think your kids are about the same age. My kids are 10 and 12. And so, when they were younger and we could take them to daycare and then we pick them up at daycare at 5 and then you would come home and make dinner and put them to bed and then you'd have some quiet time. Like at this stage in the game, they don't have their driver's license, so they're not driving themselves around.
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't go to bed till like 9:30. So some nights my kids are starting to go to bed after us because we go to bed so early. And so that's again why we don't have one-on-one time, because they're up as long as we are now.
Yeah.
So there's no nighttime time together. And then, they're in so many activities right now. So they get home from school at 3:30 and their activities start at 4 and they go sometimes till, all hours. And so we're just running your ships in the night and trying to run a business and do all the things and be a mom. And for us, we're from PEI and both of our families are from there. So we have no family support here either.
Yeah.
So we very intentionally live on a cul-de-sac. My neighbors are amazing. They're like a second family.
That's
and so
cool.
we've come to learn how to like lean on others. So if any other mom ever needs anything from me, I am there. I will move mountains for any other mom that needs me, because I know at some point I may need a favor and I'm going to have to call that in. So,
well, and I love that, because like, I think about that when we were growing up, right? Like I was talking to my mom about this the other day about how the community was really always there. Like we got parented the same by everybody. And nobody got mad about it, right? It wasn't like, oh, well, that's my kid. You can't do that.
So-and-so is yelling at your kid. I'm like, you go.
I tell them all the time, too. I'm like, if you see my kids do something that is not okay, you have full right to parent them.
Yep.
Like, please do. And I think we need to get back to that.
I'm the same way. I'm like,
right?
Like, I'll always check. Be like, so what happened? Like, did they, because there are parents that will step out of line and be a little bit too harsh. But, for the most part, like, our neighbors are really great, or other parents on the hockey teams and that kind of thing. Like if your kid's out of line, like, it's great when someone else can point that out and make them aware.
Yeah.
They pay attention to the other parents more.
I was just going to say that. I'm like, they listen so much better to other people because it's not just us.
Yep.
Right?
It takes a village.
It does. And really, like, I think that's the theme of today is like that community support and being willing to ask for help in all aspects.
Yeah. And it's one of the reasons that we called Village Wellth. It's like we picked that name because it also takes a village to transition a business from one generation of ownership to the next. It takes all the accountants and the advisors and the clients and the suppliers to get on board and the employees to get on board. Like it takes everyone. Everyone's on deck when you change ownership and make sure that that company sustains itself. And right now, when we're talking about the succession tsunami and all these retiring business owners, the biggest impact is going to be felt in rural communities.
Really?
Yeah. Because if you think about it, we're in Okotoks, our town's 40,000 people. If the mechanic closes, if the salon closes, if some of these local services close, we don't have those services. And so who is buying these companies? And so we've really, like, one of the reasons we founded Village Wellth was to drive demand to buy businesses, because we need people to be taking over these small companies.
Yeah. And I never even thought about it that way, to be honest, right? Like you just kind of assume that they're going to keep going or like that they'll always be there because they were. But you're right. Like, especially like in these rural parts, those like oftentimes there's one off of that business.
Yeah.
And then what?
So I was chatting recently with someone who lives in, just north of Athabasca, and they live on an acreage, and they're I think it's your septic tanks. You have to get your septic tanks serviced. Well, if the person that runs that company isn't able to sell or no one takes over that business, who's gonna do your septic system? Like in the middle of nowhere. So like little businesses like that, like things that you use every day that need to be taken over.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is like amazing. So I know we got to start kind of bringing it to the close, and I feel like we do have to do this again.
Okay.
So let's just make it happen.
Sounds good.
We should just make it like a regular occurrence. I'd love it.
Coffee with Meagan Liz.
Yeah. Maybe that's the next show. We should chat.
Yeah.
I like it.
We'll write that down and check the text message later.
Yeah. Leave it as unread for a while. Scroll down to find it.
5 years from now, Meagan Liz will have a podcast.
Yeah. Once we get all of our stuff together.
Yeah. Our kids are moved out.
Oh, right.
This isn't the end.
No. One day.
We're working on it.
So where can people find you? Where can they find more information about Village Wellth, especially if they're interested in buying a business or even selling their business?
So for Village Wellth, it's Village Wellth. Wealth is spelled Wellth.
I love that.
So it's a play on, the well in the middle of a town, and a well just continues to recycle and give back. So it's a play on, and then it's also a play on the word wealth, because buying an established business is a way to get, to accumulate generational wealth. Like,
Yeah.
the return from buying an established business far outweigh starting or other methods of investment as well. So that's where you can find us. There's a ton of information on our site. We also have a podcast that's on Spotify. It's called the 7-Minute Takeover. It's like 7 to 10 minute segments on things related to buying a business. So financing and seller financing and all these other terms. So you can find us there.
Cool.
And then we do live information sessions. We have an information session once a month, the first Wednesday of every month. And so I'm a lot of different places. If folks want to get in touch with me, submitting an inquiry on our site will usually get to me through the channels. If folks are interested in selling businesses, so we don't have supports for people that are selling businesses. We work really closely with the business brokerage and M&A community.
Okay.
So typically the companies that we are working with on our platform are usually represented by a business broker or an M&A. So M&A stands for mergers and acquisitions and professionals. And those are typically the professionals that are trained in buying and selling businesses and representing the sell side for the most part.
Okay.
And so,
cool.
so we work very closely with them, and we will help business owners find a broker who is a fit for them. A $500,000 business is needing a different professional than a $10 million business.
Mm-hmm.
So there's kind of like these brackets of professionals who represent different businesses in different regions in different size. And so we have a pretty good scope on who's who in the zoo across Canada. And so we'll pair people with brokers if they need it. So happy to chat if someone is looking for some advice on that. But that's kind of how we work with sellers.
This is amazing. Like, this is a whole nother like space of business that I didn't even know really existed.
It's an underground world, because if you think about it, like if you're selling a piece of real estate, there's like there's signs on your front lawn, there's signs in the, it's really broadly promoted.
Yeah.
If you're selling a business, usually your clients don't know, your suppliers don't know, your employees don't know, and it's anonymously marketed in an underground community, which Village Wellth, that's one of the reasons that we founded ourselves, because we have a two-sided marketplace. And so anyone who's selling a business can browse our entire database of buyers. And we've got thousands of people that are looking for businesses across Canada. So it's a whole ecosystem that most people have no idea even exists.
This is amazing. So and I highly recommend that people start looking at this, right? Because like you say, it's a way smarter choice than starting your own business, because there's so many benefits to it. And I love the play on the word, well, that story's going to stick with me like that, constantly refilling and giving. And it really does in all aspects by the sounds of it. It's a win-win-win for everybody involved, the community, the buyer, the seller, everything.
It is. And for us, we're big on education. So if you just to know your options, if you're thinking of starting a business, be aware that you can also buy one. It may not be the right fit for you, but at least that awareness is there. So we do, I actually do quite a bit of speaking with universities as well. I spoke to U of T this week already. Concordia has a program, and there are programming that is starting to get into the university channels and the MBA programs. They're starting to teach it, and it's actually referred to as ETA, Entrepreneurship Through Acquisition. So if anyone's looking for more information on it, there are some fantastic ETA podcasts out there as well. One of my favorites is called Acquiring Minds. So, and it's just stories upon stories upon stories of people that have bought businesses before. So there's lots of resources out there on YouTube as well.
Oh my gosh. So cool. Okay, well, I'm going to be picking your brain from now on even more at the hockey arena.
Have to. Anytime.
Right? It's going to be so much fun. You might get sick of me, but
No, never. I could talk about this till the cows come home.
Yeah, like it's really, really cool.
This is
And
my passion.
I'm totally intrigued now. So I highly recommend you guys check it out, villagewellth.com.
Yep.
Okay. And I really want to say thank you. This was so much fun.
Thank
And
you
like
for
I
having me
say,
on.
we'll figure out a show, Coffee with Liz and Meg.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. And just to kind of close out everything, I want to do one more shout out to Mainstreet Marketplace, who sponsors our show. Again, 3 locations, Okotoks, Strathmore, and Mahogany. Check them out. You will not be let down. These businesses are absolutely incredible.
Amazing. I'm a regular shopper. Love it here.
It is, isn't it? I
Yeah.
come in here and I'm like, I'm going to lose my shirt because everything is so amazing.
I do. I get all my gifts here, and I send my kids here to buy Christmas presents for me. And then
I'm going to
It's
start doing
amazing.
that.
it's great.
Man, I'm just like taking all your tricks.
Guys, we're sharing.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Liz.
Thank you so much for having me on. This was so fun.
Wasn't it? Oh, so good. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.